Hello, everyone, and welcome. First off, I am going to be having this, or we are going to be having this recorded. So if you're looking for a copy afterwards, we'll make this available as soon as we can. For those of you that just joined us, if you have any questions, please type them in the question area, and we'll try to address those right away. And if not, we'll address them publicly, some of the questions at the end if we have time. So first off, welcome to the latest installment of Advanced Search Capabilities in Adept. My name is Chris Fabry, and today we're talking advanced search capabilities. We're going to start off with the simpler part and kind of work our way into some more evolved and complex methods. Now, first off, just as a general statement, we really do strive to make your searching easy and fruitful. We've come up with some creative ways over the years, along with some great ideas from our customers, to be able to get you the files that you need most. So with that being said, let's start off with the first one, quick search. So this really enables you to find documents quickly, as the name suggests, based on a single bit of information. So with that being said, let's dive right in here. So by the way, the style of this is we'll talk a little bit about concept, and then we'll come and do a part of a presentation. So quick search is in my search results window. Right now I've got it set to file name, and the idea is easy. I type in part of the file name or the whole file name if I know it, and here are a set of results that match that. So these are all the files that match that criteria in all of the libraries and folders that I have access to. Now notice some of these are drawings, some of them are PDFs, some of them have a status of assigned, some of them are currently signed out to somebody. So this brings that whole list into one location. Now, if the majority of the time when you go looking for something, it's not the file name. Perhaps you know the project number or the job number or the revision or whatever field of information you want. You can choose that one. Now notice I've got a really short list here, and that's because I've chosen mine, and these are the ones that I use most often. I can also opt at the bottom here to show more. Now I get a list of every single field that you're tracking in Adept. So you can choose any of these to search on. And when you select them, then they end up showing up in this fewer list to be able to get to very quickly. So again, if I know part of a project number is 13, I hit enter. Here's every file that has 13 at the beginning of the project number. So you get to pick that and change that whenever you want. Now, there's another one in this list, full text search. Let's come back to our PowerPoint for a second, and we'll go to just a quick description. So the idea here is that this is searching on a portion of a word or the whole word that's embedded inside of the document. You can use Boolean search expressions. We'll talk a little bit about some of those. And if I come down, there are some caveats that I really want you guys to know about. So what are the exceptions? First off, full text search will work only on folders that they're turned on. So your administrators have the option to turn this feature on or off. So if it doesn't work for you, you may have an idea why. That's one piece. The other piece is administrators can also turn this feature off for certain file types. For example, photographs. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that a little bit further here. And also, full text search will not extract that information and make it searchable if they're in password protected files. Now, I mentioned photographs earlier, so there are a couple file types that full text search does not work on. Photographs, JPEGs, bitmaps, anything that's a picture. If it's text, if it's AutoCAD, Word, Excel, most PDFs have full text searchable available in them, but it depends on how they were created. For example, if you create a PDF from a Word document or from AutoCAD or Inventor or SolidWorks or many others, those are full text searchable. If you create a PDF out of a scanned piece of paper, it may or may not be full text searchable depending on the scanning software. Okay. Also, I'll point out there to those shape fonts in AutoCAD. Those were really big a long time ago. They're not quite as big. People are using more standardized text in most of their drawings nowadays. But if you're using those really fancy shape fonts, those are essentially images, so they're not full text searchable. So how do you use it? The idea is you type in a phrase without any kind of double quotes. And again, you saw me type in, or you're going to see me type in just a minute, a word without any kind of quotes or anything, and I find every file that has that. But the results do differ. If you're using older versions of Windows, you have to put them in quotes. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you are on an older system, it may behave a little bit differently for that. Some of the different Boolean search expressions, and which will return files that contain both of the expressions. So if I say this and that, I'll get both, or returning just either one. Sorry about that, quick sneeze. Near will return files where the words are within 50 words of each other. So it's actually doing a logarithm to figure that part out. And then and not, which will return files where the following expression is not actually in the actual file. So there's a couple different options in that area. The expressions used, here's just a couple of examples. So in this one, if I want to see initial or released, that's going to return files that contain either of those terms. These are the examples that I just mentioned. And then if you want to create different components, just like math, you would put them in parentheses so that you can logically arrange those into different units. And then here's another example of using an asterisk. So for example, if I'm looking for everything that has the word patent in it, I would put that asterisk in. If I just want the word patent, I just type it. But if I add that asterisk, I'm going to find patent as well as patented and patents. So that is a set of different search expressions. And here are one other example of that. Oops, actually, I'm going to go back. That was the last example, the patent one. And let's go take a look at a couple of these items here. So that was one method. The next one is the search card. This may sound kind of redundant because I bet a lot of you guys use the Adept search card, probably one of the more popular methods. I can just hit the search card and up comes my particular card. Some of you may have the ability to go in and select which card you want to use to search. Some of you, one of these might be assigned to you. But very, very straightforward. I pick the one I want. I can type in, I'm going to clear out all the data there. I want to type in part of a project number. I type that in. I get a list of results. There's about 30 in the display. Now, if I perform a search, you may notice that I'm in the search results area. Every search, Adept keeps track of those. So it's keeping a running count of how many match that search and which searches you perform. If I perform a secondary search and I decide I want to add some extra information, like I only want composites, then come the options to append and refine your search. I did those in opposite. Append and refine those searches, which will then narrow down the list if I pick refine, so it searched within that list only those that were composites. So very quick way of locating all that information. Now there's also search keys that can be used, and I wanted to create a slide to be able to show you this. Bear with me. Here they are. So I typed in the job number 13. It's implied that there's an asterisk after anything that you type in a field in Adept. But if you want, you can use that. You can also use a question mark to represent a character, or just not typing in anything except for one of these characters. Like, for example, a plus means find me all the files that this field is not empty. Find me all the files that this field is empty, and that's the back quote. Greater than, less than, equal to, doesn't contain the following, so everything you type after it, you'll find all the files that do not contain that. And then field does not begin with, and then whatever comes out after that. So these search keys are really, really useful. If you're looking for a copy of these, well, first we'll have a copy of the recording, but if you're ever looking for this information in the Adept help file, you can type in search keys and you'll locate all of those. And then I just mentioned the refine and append. I think we just hit on that one. But the idea is really simple. These show up when you can search within the previous list or add to that. All right, the next one. So any of those searches that you perform can be saved for future use. And these can be shared with other users. Same thing will go for something called favorites. We're going to take a look at those in Adept. This has changed greatly from favorites in prior versions of Adept, so we'll spend a little time on that. We'll also talk about the inbox. This is really has become one of the most important places for users to go. This is all the files that need your attention. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and then followed with some column sets as well. So first off, when performing any of your searches, doesn't matter which one you choose, you can then right-click and say you want to save it. I can save it as whatever name I want. In this case, the search was project 13998. And I can put in a comment as well. So that's now been saved. I can also save lists of favorites. These are a little bit different. This saved search, when selected, will perform the search. And if new files meet that criteria, they'll show up in this list. A favorites list, though, works a little bit differently. A favorites list, I can go in and select a group of files, and then I can right-click and say, I want to create a new favorites list. And I can add to existing ones or clear out other ones. And then give this a name. And this might be my drawings for Proj 13998. So that is a set list, and that link, that favorites list link, will always bring you to these files. So where are the saved searches, and where are those are all located under the favorites window. Here's all of my saved searches and my favorites. The saved searches have the purple symbol with the magnifying glass, and let's see here, the saved favorites are the yellow icon with the star. And if I decide at any time, one of these is really useful for somebody else, I can right-click on that, and I can share it. And you can share it with other users or other groups. So when they go into their favorites area, they'll see that same icon. And they'll be able to click on it and find those exact same files. In fact, when you share it with them, you can also decide how much you want to share with them. For example, can they share it with other users, or is it just for them? And can they edit that list? Can they add to the favorites, or can they alter the search criteria? So you can allow them to edit or not edit that information. These are shareable not only by individuals, but also, whoops, I forgot to show that piece right here, also any of your groups. So if you have an entire project team, you can create groups in Adept, and I can share it with all of them rather than picking them one at a time. A little bit faster in that method. The next one after Save Searches and Favorites is the inbox. So the Adept Inbox has changed quite a bit. This is now a listing of your email only. I know I've got a couple other here after, I'll explain that, but by default in 2017 Adept and on, your inbox is the only one you see. And this is where all the files that are assigned to you, currently signed out to you, or currently going through a review process, it's going through a workflow, it's your turn to approve or reject them. If I click on my name at the top, I see all of them, and if I want, I can go to the next level and sort those out. So this is a very, very popular area for people to come and find out what they need to work on. These are the files that are calling for their attention. Column sets were another item I mentioned, and this really goes for any of the windows that you've seen me open here. Every user has the ability to go and add or remove whatever columns suits you. You also have the ability to go and save those as column sets. You know, if you get them arranged a certain way and that really works for you, you can save that. And then if you want to come back and maybe you changed it a different day, you can use them. So these are a few that I've saved. These too can also be shared with other users. So if you've got your column set up a perfect way and somebody comes and looks over your shoulder and says, oh, that's a great way to list the files. I like those columns, rather than trying to write them all down, just ask them to share those with you. And then when you right click and say use columns, you'll see the ones that are currently shared with you as well. One other item I wanted to come back to, I just realized, in the full text search, I don't think I actually finished this piece, so I'm sorry, I'm jumping backwards just a little bit here, but this one was important. So in full text search, when I type in a specific word and hit enter, I get a list of results. Now, these are all the files that contain the word initial somewhere in them. And again, specific files work, other files do not, based on if they're photographs or whether they have text inside of them or not. Now, that was one way to get a listing of roughly 48 files. If I wanted to, I could type in a little bit more information. Now, notice the order that these are in the order of most relevance, and that's what this green icon or bluish green icon is. If I sort on any other column, I can do that, that's fine. But then if I want them back into the order of relevance, I'll use this list. Now, notice the top one is a MicroStation DGN file. But if I add in here a secondary piece of information, initial and P2, and hit search, I still get 48, but a drawing has come up to the top of the list because it has both of those words inside of it. So that full text search is very, very powerful, and I apologize, I missed that a little bit earlier. All right, the next item in the list is, I'm going to go to, now we've searched on the data card earlier, so we're going to talk a little bit about what Adept is able to track for you. Searching on the quick search fields are really the same as opening up the data card and typing in one field and hitting enter. The same as using the quick search. So in this example, this is just my example of a data card. Some of these fields that are extracting here are system fields. They come with Adept. You just decide where or if they show up on your card, like file name or owner or last owner or status. But you can have your own fields created by your administrators. Some of those fields might just be text entry. Some of those fields might be extracting information from the document. In this example, all of this area is actually extracted from the title block of the attributes in that drawing. So those are linked to it, so they gather that information automatically. Some of the fields can be restricted list pull-downs. Some of the fields can be related fields, so based on what you choose at one level will give you specific options at the next level. So these can drive the values down. Now, all this data is really, really useful for you to be able to find your documents. Whether you're using the search card or one of the quick search fields. Another method, though, is called the file guide view. And really what this is doing is it's sorting all of your documents based on data that's important to you. So in this example, I've got what looks like a folder tree structure, but really it's a data tree structure. I've asked Adept to organize everything that I have access to and organize them by the project name first, then discipline, and then file extension. Now, unlike a folder structure, I can click on the project name and see everything for that project all at once. If I want to narrow the list down a little bit further, I can go to the next level, in this case, what discipline it is, and then I can look at a specific file type. So by drilling down, I'm narrowing down the list, but if I sit at the top, I see everything. And that's very unlike a regular folder structure. And the key to these is that your administrators can create these different file guide views, and essentially you tell them, I know 3 things when I go looking for a file. I know the most general thing I know is the job number. And after that, I usually know what type of a product it is, and then I want to know what file extension it is. That will make a great way for you to organize your files and get to them in 2 or 3 mouse clicks. So these are configurable. These are my different examples. Some people like them organized by the type of a product it is, and then who the designer was if you're doing something mechanical. Another group may want them organized by the building name and then what discipline it is. Somebody else might want them organized by their workflow status. This is actually a very popular one. Show me everything that I'm involved with that's going through a review process. I'm a project manager or a program manager. I need to know where things are. Here are my 3 active workflows that are running, and if I go to any one, I can see all the files that are on the CAD manager step, all the files that are waiting for the project managers to review. And I could even sort them based on the project number, or even have that as another category below these. So it's just a different way of sorting the documents that means something to you and to your group. Now, for those folks that really wanted the old folder structure, we call that the library browser, and that is the existing folder structure. So if I jump back over to Adept here and select library browser, this is just like if you went before Adept, if you went to the J drive and then you went to a designs folder and you open that up and you drilled down and kept drilling down until you got to your subfolders. You can still do that. That same folder structure lives right here. What we find is most Adept users, after using it for a while, rely a little less on this if they've discovered some of the faster ways, like the file guide views and the quick search and the inbox. Those are by far the 3 most popular methods. Now, another item in our list was transmittal search. If you are specifically going out looking for transmittals, we've added in a transmittal search dialog box. You can get to it by going to the search tab, and it's right here for transmittals. There's also a nice hotkey, Control-T, for those that like the hotkeys. And the idea is really simple. You build your search. So I could say everybody, all the transmittals sent to this company with this name that starts with Synergis, and I can add that term. Or I could say, no, it was to a specific contact, and that contact's name contains, I think it was Janet. So you can add these to create different searches to get your transmittal listings. And you can also save and load these just like you do with any of the other saved searches. And I think with that, so a couple things I want to mention. We just went over a lot of stuff here, and we covered quick searches, we covered full text search, the configurable search cards, save searches, favorites, the inbox, configurable file guide views, ye old physical folder structure, and the transmittal search. I know that's quite a bit to cover, but again, if you want to search on these keywords in your Adept help, it will bring you right to, other than ye old, I don't think that one's going to be in there. That one's actually the library browser. And for more information, please give us a call if you have any questions. You can also check out our website. We've got different technical white papers, case studies, and videos galore there. And on behalf of everyone at Synergis Software, I say thank you very much for your time. Have a great day. Now, we can check out a couple questions here. I saw a couple pop up.
Yeah, we have 2 questions, Chris.
Go ahead. Thanks.
One from Brian. He's asking if the full text search works on zip files.
On zip files?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Brian, that's a good question. So you can have a zip file that's filled with Word documents. And you're not going to, unless it's opened and scanned, which we're not doing. We're actually unable to edit the file or open the file in that fashion. So good question, and I'm sorry, no.
The second question is about the inbox. In 2015, as an admin, they can see all the documents in review, and they're asking if that has changed at all in 2017.
Good question, Karen. So first, you still can. By default, you only see your inbox, but you can right-click and say, show this inbox, or show a group of people. And then that group will expand and you'll see all of their inboxes. So you can set up whichever ones you want to see. It was just a way of not defaulting to seeing every single one in the system all the time. So you can still do that, though.
And Dale asked, I know you have a function for finding children of a document. Do you intend on creating a find parents?
That's a good question, Dale. We do have that ability. In Adept, you can do a search for children, and you can also, in that same search, there's a little checkbox that says also look for parents, and you can define what parent file formats are. In a direct method, though, where you just look for parents, I just spaced out how to do that. Craig, is that
also in the search bar across the top?
Yeah, Dale, we're going to have to get back to you. We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Christopher asked, you mentioned the need for Windows 8 or 2012. Is that for client or server?
That is for client and server. So the client Windows 8 or greater and server 2012 or greater. But Christopher, that is just so you use quotes or don't use quotes. So if you're using anything newer than that, the quotes are not required. And let's see here, I see Grant asked,
yep.
Can't do a search all files on library card search after doing an initial search in the library card. There's actually a way to do that, Grant. After you do your first search, you do have to clear. Yep. Now that's with the desktop. On the web client, you can do that now because we've got well, it's still not a search all files. You still have to throw in something. You have to throw in the asterisk to be able to do that. Yep. Grant, one of the things that we were trying to avoid with that was people saying, show me every file in Adept. That obviously is going to put Adept at its max for performance and really just gives you a listing of every single file in the system. And I know that sometimes that occasionally might be what you're really looking for, but most of the time you're looking for a subset and you're then sorting the documents afterwards. So Grant, if I didn't answer your question or you would like to talk more, don't hesitate to contact us. We'd love to go over any of these with any of you. Let's see here. Gail, no, don't apologize for stumping me. I like that because then I find it out and everybody else will find out eventually too. And Jim, how are you doing? For full text search, if you didn't have it turned on, can you go back and run full text search on a particular library? Very good question, Jim, and the answer is yes. So after you turn full text search on, you can go back into your user group library admin area and select specific folders, and then you can tell them to scan for text. And it will, at that point, it'll go through and gather that information. It may take a little while, not something you're going to do when people are trying to run on it. It would be something I would try to do in off hours, depending on the size of the folder as well. Great question, Jim. Thank you. All right. If we missed your question or you think of one afterwards, also, please don't hesitate to contact us. We love talking with you guys. We love getting new ideas and also questions that we don't always think of. And I know that parent question, search for parents, Dale, that has come up, and I'm just blanking it out, but I know I've got an answer for you. All right, folks. Thank you very, very much. Also, contact us if you have more ideas for these Work Like a Pro sessions that you want to see. We're really trying to get your votes and do the most popular ones. These are for you. They're not. They're really our way of helping you get more out of Adept. So, any good ideas on new sessions, please let us know. Thank you all very, very much. We really do appreciate your time. Have a great day.